Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for December 17, 2023. And in the news this evening, my client is not a suspect in wife's death, says attorney for Julian Silvera. The attorney for Julian Silvera says the former parliamentarian is not being treated as a suspect by the police in their investigation into the murder of his wife. Initial reports claimed that Melissa Silvera passed away suddenly in her sleep on November 10. A recent post-mortem has reportedly since revealed that 3 bullet fragments were found inside her body, causing the police to upgrade the case to a murder investigation. In a statement today, attorney Peter Champagny said his client has been cooperating with the investigation and is not a suspect. Champagny encouraged the persons not to speculate and to be mindful of remarks they make, particularly on social media platforms. While I appreciate the need for transparency insofar as the public's interest is concerned in this most unfortunate situation, I would urge caution upon those who would want to go beyond the boundaries of facts on social media. One must be sensitive to all the circumstances, particularly as they relate to the young children of the family. The police investigation must be allowed to proceed without any prejudice to anyone. St. Catherine Council wants security cameras in town centers to help fight crime. A local government representative in St. Catherine is calling for a collaborative effort between telecommunications companies to provide cameras throughout the town centers to boost the safety. The call came from Councillor Courtney Edwards of the Independent City Division during the monthly meeting of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation on Thursday. We needed to contact Flo and the Digicel to assist with erecting cameras, which will help with curtailing criminal activities, Edwards said. He argued that despite the efforts of the security forces, crime continues to be a problem. Edwards said that the placement of cameras would better assist in identifying those who are bent on criminal acts. The view was accepted by his colleagues at the meeting, and the consensus is that it is to be further discussed. Despite roadblocks, son determined to get justice after off-duty cop reportedly mows down dad. About 6:30 a.m. on August 13, 2022, Linval Williams was packing goods into the trunk of his vehicle at his gate as he prepared to sell his produce in and around his community of Windsor Castle St. Mary. Without a warning, his Saturday morning routine was violently disrupted when a car reportedly driven by an off-duty cop slammed head-on into Williams's parked automobile. The impact sent the 66-year-old hurtling through the trunk and landing in the front of his car. His car was also pushed to the other side of the road. Paralyzed from the chest down, he spent 7 days in the hospital before succumbing to the injuries. It has been a difficult 16 months since the tragedy for the family, but his son, Craig Williams, is determined to keep fighting for justice, armed with footage of the accident, which was captured on CCTV. The policeman, a constable attached to the Office of the Commissioner of Police, is yet to be charged despite a ruling from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions recommending a charge of death by dangerous driving, which carried a maximum sentence of 5 years under the Road Traffic Act, in force at the time of the crash. A police source told the news that no one wanted to take up the case initially. The source believes this is because a police officer was involved, but is adamant that this is not supposed to happen, as no one is above the law. It was a reluctance that Craig said he started witnessing since the very day of the accident, and he believes the uphill battle he has since faced in trying to get information on the case chalks up to delay tactics. This has amplified the grief from the sudden death of their breadwinner and well-known community man, Craig said. It makes me feel like Jamaica is not really a place for people to live, and the police force is not really a force that is for good, a dejected Craig told the news last week. Craig explained that after the accident, the family went to the Highgate police station in St. Mary to make a report. By then, it was late at night, and they were told to return the following day, but Craig said he insisted on making the report that night as his father was in a critical condition. He was then informed that the officers had finished processing the scene of the accident and there was nothing left to be done. However, he said this rhetoric changed after he showed officers at the station footage of the accident. He was then told that the scene would be revisited the following day. Further to this, we found out that the third party that was driving the car was actually a police officer who declared himself to be a police officer when the police came on the scene of the accident, Craig said. The investigations also reportedly revealed that the vehicle being driven by the cop was neither registered nor insured. This has caused even more distress for the family, who are unable to receive any form of insurance payout. We learned that after the accident happened, he went online and did the renewal of his policy, so they could not cover the accident because he wasn't insured at the time of the accident. Months later, Craig said he was informed that a case file was sent to the ODPP for a ruling. In May, he called to find out the status of the ruling. They said that based on the information I gave them, the police officer's name and my father's name, they said that there is no case file there bearing those names. The Sun disclosed it to the news. After this roadblock, Craig sought the advice of a lawyer who directed him to the Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This was after he had previously written to iProbe as well as the Commissioner's Office inquiring about the case, but did not get a response. In July, he visited the office of iProbe to make a report, and weeks later, he said he was informed by an investigator there that the case file was at the ODPP. In September, he inquired about the ruling of the ODPP. I gave them the same information, and this time they said yes, a ruling was made, and the file was sent to the office that sent the case file to us. They said that they could not tell me what is in the ruling. I would have to call iProbe to find out what is there, he said. He did as was directed, but was told by iProbe that the case file was not with them, and he was redirected to the Commissioner's Office. Exhausted by the runaround, he persisted, making the required calls from one department in the JCF to the next in a desperate search for answers. I was saying that it doesn't really make any sense, because it sounds like you're just taking me through a cycle, and I am not getting any update at all, and I know that if I call the Commissioner's Office, there'll be nothing coming from them, he said. At first I thought that the reason that the case file was not at the ODPP in the first place was that they were trying to probably just discard the file. If we never actually went to iProbe in July, the case would not have been sent to the ODPP. I think they were just trying to look out for their colleague and just don't really care. There is no remorse for what happened, and despite them seeing all of what happened, because it's on video, it's like they don't care. Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn-Casey, told the news last week that the ruling on the matter was sent back to the police on September 6, 2023. We recommended that he be charged for causing death by dangerous driving, she confirmed. Meanwhile, Superintendent Bobette Morgan-Simpson, head of the St. Mary Police Division, told the news that administrative procedures have prevented the charge from being laid against the police officer 3 months after the DPP's ruling. There are some administrative procedures that are taking place right now, and then afterwards, whatever is going to happen will happen thereafter, but he has not yet been charged, she said. She was unable to provide a timeline as to when, if at all, the officer may be charged. Craig, in the meantime, has sought the help of the Office of the Public Defender, which wrote a letter to iProbe, the receipt of which Assistant Commissioner of Police MacArthur Sutherland has acknowledged. I received it the day before yesterday, Wednesday, and an acknowledgement letter was sent back to the public defender, the iProbe boss told the news. What I wrote it to my investigations team and directed that they go to the division where this matter originated and do the paper trail from there, because if I am to believe what Craig is saying, he would have been given some runaround, Sutherland said. Speaking generally, as his agency is not approving this matter, Hugh Faulkner, head of the Independent Commission of Investigations, suggested that civilians seek legal counsel when facing with challenges obtaining information from the police on matters involving cops. One of the best steps they can take is having a lawyer to act in their interest, because while INDECOM may investigate a case with a view to find out if there is any culpability, there is also another aspect that can run simultaneously, a civil process, which would be negligence, Faulkner told the news. If they are not equipped with the funding for a lawyer, many lawyers would function on a contingency basis, whereby there is a signed agreement as to fees which would arise at the end of the legal process. Still relentless, Craig said he will not stop until his family gets justice for his father, who he described as an independent, hard-working man who loved their life and who was the backbone of their family. We're looking for answers and we want justice, because my father actually never went into the part of anybody. My father could have been living today, he said.